Well, good morning and welcome to the WLOX Expert Alert, in which we have experts from different businesses come in and kind of give you some great tips on doing some buying, selling, whatever. And one of them today is on real estate. And whether you're in the market to buy, looking to sell, it's always great to have someone backing you up, working with you, so you have well, everybody's a happy camper. Anyway, we have PowerMark, Thad McIntyre, who is in here with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks, Jim.
Well, good. I'm doing well, thank you very much. Give us a little bit of background about PowerMark, if you would, Thad.
Sure. We opened PowerMark Properties in 2015, late 2015, and I joined a network called Real Living. Real Living is a smaller franchise company owned by Warren Buffett, and it's a sister affiliate of Berkshire Hathaway. So it's a little bit smaller, and that's something that I wanted for our group, was something that was not so much a boutique shop, but not one of the big box franchises either. So we've got all the technology and the sources that we need to play with the big boys, if you will.
Now, you see signs all over the Gulf Coast, this property for sale, this, and people are looking to buy property, whether it's, homes or business or whatever. But, you see the signs also for sale by owner. Talk about, if you would, a little bit, because I know there's probably some of you out there that thinking, well, maybe I'll just save myself some money and try to sell it myself. What are the negatives about doing something like that?
When you're working with a for sale by owner, you really have to be careful. Mississippi is what we call a non-disclosure state. So as a for sale by owner, they're not required to adhere to certain regulations and rules that we as agents are. So we have a seller's disclosure that they have to complete, and that goes in our file to give to all potential buyers. Whereas a for sale by owner doesn't have to do that. So it's very much a buyer beware in a situation. So the little bit of money that you may save on a commission really isn't worth it in the long haul when you end up in court.
Is it easier for sale by owner, for the owner to maybe hide something?
Oh, absolutely.
And you not find out about it until later, and then they're like, what do I do now?
Yeah. There's a lot that we do as an agent that the homeowner may not be aware of. The contracts have all gone through legal counsel and legal review to make sure that it's an ironclad contract to help both buyers and sellers. So we also recommend home inspectors. So the home inspector would go in to make sure that the things are done early on, and that we're able to fix those repairs or renegotiate or allow the buyer to just leave the transaction, or maybe it's the seller that says, I don't have the money to fix this. So at least everybody is aware of what the situation would be with a home inspection.
So basically you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, so there's no hidden problems that pop up later on that. When is the best time to sell?
That's a really good question. We get that all the time, where as we approach the holidays, people think that they should pull the property off the market, and that's really not the best idea. We have very limited inventory right now anyway, as we all know, but it's a perfect time to have your house on the market. If everybody else is pulling theirs off, why wouldn't you leave yours on? So you don't get to see as many houses, so your selection is tighter and it's easier to actually go under contract.
How has Zeta affected the real estate industry around here?
She hurt. We're having to do some re-inspections on some roofs and fences to make sure that the properties are in still the same condition that they were whenever we went under contract. So we are seeing people that have to delay closings right now and perhaps put on a new roof or patch or do something of that nature, which also would be a re-disclosure to the potential buyer of the damages that were done.
So that's when the inspector goes back in and says, okay, it had this kind of damage done, but they repaired it.
Correct.
And it's fixed. So
Correct.
as you have the disclosure as you mentioned.
Yes.
What are multiple offers? Is that like if I offer you this much for that, and somebody else offers you that this much for that?
It becomes a bidding war, basically. And the way that it works is a property goes on the market, and with our inventory right now being so low, we're seeing more and more multiple offers. So it means that somebody's going to come in and offer maybe $2,000 below full list. Then the other person offers full list price, and then somebody else will come in and offer over list price. So we then notify of course the seller has ultimate decision, but we notify all parties that we are now in multiple offers, meaning that there's not a solid contract yet, but there's a potential for a bidding war to happen, and the house could go under contract for more than the actual list price.
And that's good for the seller.
It could be very good for the seller, provided the property appraises for it.
Right.
So we do see that happen quite often to where a bidding war will happen, and it will go over as much as $100,000 in some cases.
Wow.
So yeah, it's gone up, and then the property won't appraise. So now that contract will fall through, and then hopefully we'll go back down to one of the other offers, or we'll even consider putting the property back on the market and let everybody know that the multiple offer situation fell through.
So what happens though if, let's say, my offer is above what the house appraised for? Does that have any effect on whenever they go in to get a loan?
It does, very much so.
Uh-huh.
The mortgage process would not, they would allow them to pay the cash
Right.
difference between the appraised value and the purchase price, but we certainly don't recommend that, because you're buying a property that maybe you'll never get your value back out of again. So we try to convince people to stay in line with the appraisers. And the situation that we're in right now is the appraisers are trying to catch up. They can't catch up with the values right now either. So we're all chasing balls, and the cost of construction. Lumber has gone up so much. So
oh, I know that. I mean, just to try to fix a fence right now. I mean, the fence boards are hard to come by.
Yes, yes. So you multiply that times an entire house, and the value of what we thought in the beginning was, let's say, $200,000. Now all of a sudden, because of the cost of materials, is running $224,000. Well, the appraisal in that subdivision can't support that value. So it's kind of a catch-22 that everybody's in. We hurry up and wait, and eventually the prices will get there and level out.
And that's when I guess they go in and they find the values of homes around your area.
Correct.
And to try to determine what kind of value is on your home.
Correct.
Now, two terms that I've heard of: buyer's and seller's market. What is a buyer's market and what is a seller's market?
Whoever can dictate what's going on, and that's how that works. And right now we're pretty much in a true seller's market, but the buyers are strong because the buyers are competing for those properties because our inventory is so low. So a buyer ends up in a multiple offer situation. The seller thinks their property now is worth more, and it just is a ebb and tide flow with where are we. And it depends upon where the properties are, and whether they're close to the beach, whether they're on the water, whether they're high and dry, out in the county. So there's a whole lot of factors that play into that with the buyer's market, seller's market.
Well, seeing that it's a buyer's market right now, somebody who maybe is a first-time buyer, never bought a home before, has been wanting to, is a buyer's market out there right now. They've seen some little homes here or there. What kind of special incentives do they have for a first-time buyer?
First-time home buyer programs are available. It's kind of a misnomer on what is actually out there available for them. Mm-hmm. Down payment money, gift money are always things that we can look at. And I always suggest that anybody go out and get pre-approved first. Don't get into a car with an agent to go look at a house and find out that you can't afford it. And be honest with your mortgage lender, please. They're going to find out everything. Don't go up and add up more debt. They will find out. Don't change jobs or think that you can quit. They will find out. We have that situation all the time that happens.
We have our ways.
And they do.
Yes.
So don't go buy that new Dodge truck. It's not worth it. Let's get you into your house instead of a mattress in the back of the truck.
Oh yeah, definitely. What is the difference between a down payment and closing costs?
That's a really good question. Closing costs are the funds to close the transaction. So that would be, for example, the insurance on the home for the first year that they escrow, the appraisal fee, the title work, and the lender charges if they have anything that goes in there as well. Down payment is what goes towards the actual mortgage program itself. So if it was an FHA mortgage, for example, they would be putting 3.25%, down payment. Totally different from closing cost. A VA will only allow the veteran to pay certain closing costs, and they can do 100% financing in most cases. So the conventional products would require 3 to 5% down minimum, or if you wanted to avoid private mortgage insurance, you put more money down, up to 20%.
Now, I've heard that a buyer and a seller can split closing costs.
Absolutely, it's a negotiable item. Mm-hmm. So some buyers don't have a lot of cash, so they're stuck in a situation where they need that. So instead of going in and trying to negotiate for a lower price, they say, I'm going to pay you closer to full market value for the home, but I need some assistance with the cash. So can you help with the closing cost or pay as much of it as you possibly can?
Like one last question
Sure.
for you. It kind of goes back to our first question about using a real estate agent or selling it yourself. Is it better to use the listing agent as an agent or to find a buyer's agent?
I always recommend finding a buyer's agent, because the person on that sign that you see representing that seller may not have your best interest in mind. So let them do their job and represent the seller. Let a buyer's agent do their job and represent you as the buyer. And both parties will come together, and hopefully at that point everybody plays nice in the sandbox.
And we have happy campers all this.
Yes, all the way around the transaction.
Well, great. That's some great information for those of you are looking to buy real estate. Also, there's PowerMark Property. They're on Pass Road in Biloxi. There's the phone number on the screen in which you can give them a call. They've got some great listings for some homes there. Website as well. And I mean, what can we talk about in the future?
So we can talk about something that's affected us right now with Zeta, and that's insurance claims, adjusters, and reinspections. That's going to be really, really important as we start putting roofs back together and move into our winter month seasons.
All right, Dan, very much thankful for you being here on the show with us
Thank
this morning
you.
on Expert Alert. Again, you can find out some more information about PowerMark by going to the website or give them a call. They're located on Pass Road in Biloxi. Thanks for being with us this morning here on WLOX Expert Alert.
If you have a question for any of our experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert. For a list of any of our upcoming experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert.